Jaden Daniels is out for Monday night. Marcus Mariota will start. That's the lead, and it changes everything for Washington. Not tomorrow, not later this week, right now. Daniels left Sunday's loss to Dallas with a low-grade hamstring strain. The team's MRI showed no structural damage, but the Commanders are being cautious. He's already missed games this season, and they're not risking a flare-up with a primetime trip to Kansas City looming. The short version: this is a medical decision that becomes a football decision, and the Commanders just shifted their season's identity for one night. What that means on the field: with Daniels, Washington's offense lives and dies on timing. Quick reads, RPOs, and the heat he adds as a runner to keep boxes honest. Marcus Mariota is a perfectly competent pro, but he changes the equation. Expect fewer deep structure timing routes, more conservative play calls, and a heavier emphasis on the run and play action. Mariota will be asked to manage the game, protect the ball, and convert manageable third downs rather than create explosive plays on pure improvisation. Practical game plan you'll see: shorter throws, faster release. Mariota gets the ball out in rhythm. Anything that takes 2 beats and a perfect pocket will be deprioritized. Look for slants, quick outs, and checkdowns. More play action and tight end slot usage. The Chiefs can rush in disguise. Play action can buy Mariota microseconds and create bigger windows without asking him to win with timing alone. Heavy run calls and tempo control. To keep Mahomes off the field, Washington will want long, sustaining drives. That means more carries, more screens, and third down calls that target yards after catch. Simplified protections. Expect max protect looks on obvious long downs and slide protections built for quick reads rather than complex blitz pickups. Why that matters against Kansas City: the Chiefs aren't just an offense. They are an error-exploiting machine. Mahomes and Kansas City will attack the weaker links: miscommunications, slow pockets, and predictable scripts. If Washington goes conservative and protects the ball, they're still in this game. If Mariota is forced into having to push the ball downfield on a short week with limited reps, the Chiefs will convert short fields into scoreboard advantage quickly. Washington's practical imperatives: 1. Win the line of scrimmage, at both tackle spots and up the middle. If Mariota doesn't have room to step and throw, the conservative plan collapses. 2. Win special teams and turnover battles. A backup QB game is often decided by hidden phases: returns, penalties, and turnovers. Those can swing a game without Mariota having to be great. Number 3, make third down manageable. Convert short third downs. Stay on the field and chew clock. That's the clearest path to neutralize Kansas City's offense. What Mariota gives you and doesn't: he gives you experience, poise, and the ability to buy time with his legs if protections break down. He's not a pure improviser in the Daniels mold, and he's not the long-term solution Washington's building around. But for one night, he can be steady. The coaching staff must craft a script that fits his skill set: quick progression reads, schemed opportunities to run, and play action that looks like a vertical threat without the vertical risk. Fantasy and betting implications: quick hit. Fantasy: if you roster Commanders skill players, expect lower ceilings but more steady floors. Mariota's script boosts work for backs and tight ends on checkdowns. Don't expect explosive ceiling games from the WR core. Betting: market lines will move toward Kansas City, and with good reason. The Chiefs can attack a backup under a short week. If you're betting live, watch first quarter script. If Washington sustains drives and protects the ball, the game can tighten. If not, Mahomes' offense will separate. Longer-term context: this is the third time Daniels has missed snaps by week 8. Hamstrings are deceptively troublesome. Low-grade strains heal, but re-aggravation is common if you rush a return. Washington's conservative approach signals they care more about the season arc than one emotional primetime appearance. That's sensible, but it also forces the front office and coaches into contingency planning. If Daniels is out longer, can the roster sustain the identity they want? If the team flounders with repeated absences, personnel questions get louder and faster. How the Chiefs can exploit this: Kansas City will do 3 things: force Mariota into third and long, disguise pressures to fluster a QB on a short week, and attack early to seize field position. If the Chiefs can win in the first 3 drives and build a clock advantage, Mariota's conservative script becomes reactive rather than proactive. That's exactly where a high-powered offense turns a backup's limitations into a blowout. What Washington needs to win: discipline, limit penalties, limit negative plays, and don't gift short fields. Production from the run game, control clock and avoid third and long. Special teams, flips in field position, and non-offensive TD opportunities matter. Mariota staying calm and delivering high-percentage throws. Turnovers are fatal in this matchup. The human angle. This is also about confidence. Daniel's emergence last season gave the Commanders an identity. Sitting him, even for the right medical reasons, tests the team's resolve. How the locker room responds will matter more than any X's and O's for this one night. If veterans step up and the team rallies behind Mariota, this can be a manageable setback. If not, it becomes a momentum drain. One-line closer Daniels' hamstring turns a primetime marquee matchup into a chess match where Washington can win by patience and discipline or lose by being predictable and brittle. Monday night won't tell us everything about Washington's future, but it will tell us this: how a team responds when its engine is sidelined often defines the next month of its season. You went from, hey, maybe he gets a look, to, wait, what, fast. Shedeur Sanders was quietly promoted up Cleveland's depth chart, and yet he's not taking first-team practice reps. Yeah, that's the headline, and it's as weird and combustible as it sounds. ESPN.com, here's the blunt version. After Joe Flacco was traded, Sanders technically moved up the roster. Yeah, but head coach Kevin Stefanski made it crystal that the rookie isn't getting the starters' repetitions in team periods now that Dillon Gabriel is the guy. In short, QB2 on paper, but the live reps that matter, Gabriel's getting them. Stefanski framed it as a function of who's starting. You prep the starter. That's not exactly gaming the system, it's coaching math. But it sure looks terrible for a young player trying to build momentum. Sigh. Let's unpack why this stings so much. For a rookie QB, practice reps with the first unit aren't optional development. They're the curriculum. They're where timing, cadence, protections, and real defensive looks are learned. When you watch a quarterback who's 50 yards down the depth chart get scratch work, it's not scandalous, it's expected. But when a guy who just got bumped up to QB2 still plays scout team every week, the question becomes, are they developing him or hiding him? That ambiguity fuels frustration in the fan base and gives media fodder to loud voices. Yahoo Thethau. And the noise has been loud. Local talk radio figures and national pundits aren't kind here. Some call it disrespectful to Sanders' talent. Others say the Browns are being hyper-cautious with a rookie they didn't pick as their top QB investment. The point being, narrative matters. When a roster move isn't followed by a visible change in reps, it looks like either indecision or neglect, neither of which plays well publicly. TheSpun.com. Now, the coach's side, because it's important to be fair, Stefanski isn't saying Sanders is a problem. He's saying Gabriel must have every rep to grow as the starter. That's a defensible position if your priority is getting the guy who's going to take the snaps in the game as comfortable as possible. It's also the more conservative path. You avoid a scramble if the starter falters mid-game, but you risk stunting the backup's real game readiness. Those are trade-offs, not malice, but fans rarely accept we chose the safer short-term path as a satisfying explanation. What this all does is compress pressure into three possible outcomes, none of them pretty if you're Shedeur. 1, he waits it out and gets his turn later this season, having sacrificed early momentum. 2, mounting frustration turns into a public rift and he requests a release or trade. Or 3, the Browns get so desperate that they swap the depth chart again, chaos on demand. All three outcomes change the narrative and the roster in ways the Browns clearly don't want midseason. Prediction: Browns will try to avoid each, but the clock is ticking. Opinion time, and keep in mind this isn't a headline, it's a read of incentives. Cleveland's front office built a rookie room with 2 projects. They've favored the one they see as closer to ready. That's defensible if you want to compete on the margin. It's terrible if your goal is to develop both prospects and monetize one into long-term success. Either way, the optics stink, and you don't fix optics by saying, trust the process on a radio interview. The Guardians. So what should happen next? If you're the Browns, be transparent and proactive. Give Sanders weekly first-unit periods designed for starter work, or explain exactly why you won't, publicly and privately. If you're Sanders, stay positive publicly, push privately, and be ready to move if development stalls. For fans, temper fury with patience, but don't pretend silence is a neutral act. Silence is a statement too. And right now it reads like, we're not sure. CBS Sports one final thing. This isn't a moral tale about good and evil. It's a football problem dressed up as drama. Coaching staffs make calculated choices. Rookies need reps. Fans expect fairness. Media amplifies contradictions. Cleveland's choice to prioritize Gabriel's reps makes sense in the moment, but it's also a high-risk, high-friction play, especially when the backup happens to be a flashy name with a built-in audience. Bottom line, Shedeur Sanders sitting out of first-team reps after being elevated to QB2 is the kind of small procedural decision that can become a franchise-level squall. It's fixable if the Browns want it fixed. If they don't, they own the fallout. Either way, this story is far from over.